Hello, hello. Whoops. I know I'm knocking the camera all around. Give it a few minutes to see if anyone actually shows up. Until then, gaze at these figures. Looks like we have one person. Oh, 3 people. Hey, what's up, John? Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. So, I will give it a few more seconds. I really should get some kind of hold music or something, but the problem is, like, then it would just get claimed for copyright infringement. So, I don't know. It feels like, yes, it does feel like old times because it said I had 4 people and now I only have 2. They come quick and they leave. Yes, I do have some of those are McChangeables. Good eye, excellent. Basically, I went to Retrocon this weekend. Retrocon is a somewhat local convention for me, Oaks, Pennsylvania. They have it once a year, usually between it's either September or October. Usually, always a good time. Lots of good stuff. Lots of '80s toys, especially if you're a fan of the '80s toys like me, which is when I grew up. So, well, part of the time I grew up. I would say I was probably equal time '80s and '90s when I was watching TV and collecting toys and things like that. That is a good question. I don't know, but they were for sale, so I purchased them. I did see him. Um, he had a panel on Saturday. I didn't really get to talk to him much. I was hanging out with my friend Kevin from SEO Toy Review. So if you know Kevin from SEO Toy Review, he's a good dude. We were hoping to get to hang out with Dan Larson more, and it just kind of didn't work out. So I didn't really get to talk to him or hang out with him, but I saw his panel. Nice guy, seems cool. Just didn't get to chat with him as much as I would have liked, but maybe next time. Let's see. Psycho O's asked, "What Toku shows am I watching currently?" Um, really just the current shows: Taiga, Ultraman Taiga, Ryu Soldier, Zero One. I am kind of also watching Gal Ranger. I'm going through my Sentai DVDs, so I am kind of working through Gal Ranger as well. Let's see, more comments. What are you going to be doing? I'll in a minute I'll be showing off all these things, but yes, I did see the Spider-Man video. It was excellent. I'm a huge fan of Japanese Toei Spider-Man, so very cool to see that video. One of the things I was hoping to chat with him about, but just didn't get the chance. So I'll just go ahead and get started. Basically, like I was saying, Retrocon once a year, Oaks, Pennsylvania, always a good time. So these are the things that I found. It's kind of funny. I went on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, I didn't really buy that much because I was mostly just hanging out with my buddies. But then I went back today with my wife, and we kind of really like walked up and down every aisle, and I found some cool stuff. So, is that G1 Mini Starscream colored like movie Starscream? What G1 Mini Starscream? Oh, you're talking about Leader 1? That's a GoBot, my friend. We'll get there. So anyway, this is what I picked up. It's mostly GoBots over here, except for this Outback. I was actually really excited about this. I'm leaving... What is it? I'm leaving a conference about the JET program. Oh, you're doing the JET program? Where you go over there and teach English? That's cool. I was offered that, but I just didn't do it. But I had a buddy who did it in Korea. He stayed in, I think he still lives in Korea, actually. He met a woman in Korea, they got married, and I think he stayed there. As a buddy from high school. But anyway, this is a G1 reissue Outback. The G1 reissues were very hit or miss with Walmart, and I had a real hard time finding most of them. I think I found just about everyone except Outback. Oh, and there's a price sticker on it still. But yeah, so I got the guy to give this to me for $10, which I was excited about because I think they're like $7.96 at Walmart. So, you know, $2 extra to just get the last one I needed that I hadn't found yet. Because I got Bumblebee, Gears, Swerve, Warpath, and there was another one, Tailgate, I think. He was the only one. And the funny thing is, when I go to shows and things like this, I see all the ones that I already have. I never see Outback. So I was happy to pick them up for only a couple dollars more than retail. So finally have all of the G. I think, as far as I know, I don't know if they did Cliff Jumper. Did they do Cliff Jumper? I kind of don't think they did, but maybe I'm wrong. But in any case, I have all the G1 reissue minicons. Wow, what's wrong with me today? Mini bots that Walmart did. So very excited about that. Those are mostly like between Soundwave and the cassettes and the mini bots are like the only G1 reissues that I could find. I did find Starscream, but I couldn't find Devastator. I couldn't find. I guess I did see Optimus Prime once, but that Optimus Prime was way too expensive. But in any case, next up we'll take a look at the McChangeables. The funny thing about McChangeables, I've loved these like forever, ever since they came out. They did 2 waves, actually I guess 3 waves. They did 2 waves of bots, which was like normal robots. Then they did like a second wave where they were all like crazy neon colors. And then they did a 3rd wave that were dinosaurs. And like I said, I've loved them since their creation. I collected them when they were out. Every time I would go to yard sales or flea markets or things like that, you'd find them in bins for like a quarter, 50 cents a piece, something like that. And I would always just buy them. Even if I already had them, anytime I would see them, I would just buy them. So I have a bunch of these things. Now, the years have gone on. Apparently, they're super valuable now because I'll go to shows and they tell me, oh, they're like $5, $8 a piece. And I'm like, are you kidding me for these things? $8 a piece? You know, but they're super popular. And one guy was telling me he gets them graded and he puts them in little packages and he gets $8 a piece for them. I was like, all right, dude, well, good luck. Get $8 a piece if you can. I don't blame you. But I can still, I mean, it's been a minute since I've bought one at a flea market, but I would say as recently as a year or 2 ago, I was still finding them at flea markets for a quarter, 50 cents a piece. So I'm not paying $8 a piece for them. But I found another booth, had a few of these, $1 a piece. I was like, okay, I'll go $1 a piece. That's fine. I mean, usually I like to stay in the quarter, 50 cents area, but I'll go up to $1 a piece. That's fine. Hey, Cody, what's up, man? The reason I went for these is they're ones I don't have that many of. Dinosaurs obviously are the most prevalent. I find them the most because they were the most recent. I think people kept them. The robot ones are the ones that I tend to buy if I find them because I don't have as many of those. Yeah, they're like the forerunners to BotBots in my mind. That's kind of what I think about. Like, these were the forerunners to BotBots. You really didn't miss anything, Cody, to be honest. Hey, Drake. Yes, I will. We are definitely going to take a look at that synchro sword. So anyway, the first one is a milkshake. You open it up, and it is a little robot. So these little weird faces back in the 80s were pretty amazing. Why won't this focus? Yes, no, focus. There it goes. So anyway, I love the little robots. They were a little dirty. I just cleaned them up, a little water. Cleaned up real nice. So that is the first little milkshake. The second milkshake is actually from the second wave. And what you do is you pull this apart. And you can see the face inside. And then these arms swivel out. It's definitely very strange. But I don't think I've ever seen this one in person before. So I had to pick this one up because I've never seen this one. And I didn't have it. Like this one I had another one, but like I said, if they're cheap, I always just buy them, even if I already have them, just because they're so much fun. And they have a little army of them. And then this last one is a little ice cream cone. They've done this mold a couple times. I think actually they've done it in all 3 of them. But the one I see the most is the dinosaur one. And this is the robot one. So it's like a weird little face. And then the arms flip up from the side. Usually it's like a blue dinosaur head. And then the arms are painted blue instead of pink. So I went with this one because, again, I don't think I've ever seen this one before. It's the exact same mold, but they just switched the head for the dinosaur release. So those are the McChangeables that I picked up. Why do they say McDonald's? These were given out in Happy Meals. They were Happy Meal toys at McDonald's. They were called McDonald's McChangeables, and they were Happy Meal toys. So they were a good time. Very fun. Next up, we'll take a look at the Galactic Heroes and Imagine X. I wonder if they'll redo these one day. And the Happy Meal toys, they seem to do this. Yeah, I agree. They really were I would say out of all the Happy Meal toys, because they always would do Disney movies or whatever was popular. How they did Hot Wheels cars and Mattel little Barbies for girls all the time. But I think you're right. I think if you mention these to most people from the 80s and 90s, they would remember them because they are pretty iconic. I found a bin with some of these Galactic Heroes in them. They were like 2 for $3, which is a great deal. And some of the ones I found, I honestly can't believe my luck. Usually, honestly, I like Play School stuff. And I still collect it, but I don't... I mean, here's the thing. They don't really make a lot of new Play School stuff. There's the Power Ranger stuff, obviously, and that's great. And I'm trying to find that, but even that's hard to find because they don't really... It's not... I feel like it's not fully released in stores yet, but we'll see. So I kind of cooled off on all the Play School stuff because one, it got to the point where all the stuff that I could easily obtain, I had already. All the other stuff was kind of rare, and they just weren't making new stuff. I kept thinking, oh, they're going to do something for all the Marvel movies. There was no Endgame or even Infinity War Play School Heroes. There was no I guess they did a set for Solo, but it was very limited. I don't know. It just seems like they could have been doing more. So I felt like Play School Heroes was kind of cooling off. And so, hey, Chad, I kind of stopped paying as much attention to it. But at shows, sometimes you can find some good deals on some of these older ones. And a lot of these are really hard to find. So here's Qui-Gon. He looks pretty good. And these are the ones that actually have the arm articulation. They don't have the weird, stupid bar. So I was very excited to find some of these because they're ones that are... definitely harder to find because they're older and people are looking. They're highly sought after is what I should say. So here's Qui-Gon. Here is episode 2 Obi-Wan. He's got the kind of the mullet going on, the Jesus beard. But he's got the really nice molding there on the lightsaber hilt. So that's cool. So another excellent little figure. These next two are the ones I'm super most excited about. Keet Fisto has definitely been a favorite of mine for a while. And of course, Sam Jackson, Mace Windu, you can't beat them. So I think these were originally in a 2-pack. And I've seen, now granted, still in the packaging, but the thing with Play School Heroes is they're never really in the packaging because all that packaging was open. So it's just these two guys twist tied to a piece of, a cardboard card back. There's not really sealed in package because it was always open. So I've seen these guys still attached to the card go for close to $100. And I got the two of them together for $3. They're in great condition. They really do look nice. Keet Fisto looks fantastic. He's got the arm articulation, normal bend, shoulders. And I mean, the paint's all really sharp. Still looks great. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely excited for the new one. Ranger Kaylee. I will definitely be watching Rise of Skywalker. So totally pumped for Keet Fisto. The Mace Windu, he even has a cloak. You can take it off. It can come off. Let's see. I mean, you can put the hood down. I think this... Yeah, there we go. You can actually take it all the way off if you want to. He looks great. I mean, like I said, I couldn't believe my luck because, like I said, they're super rare. These are in great condition. Mace even had the cloak still. And I love the purple lightsaber, so I was super pumped to find these. And such a ridiculously good price. So I couldn't have been more excited about that. Then I found Doc Ock. I do have a Doc Ock, but it's a really terrible one. Kind of before they lost steam with these, they did a version of Doc Ock where he was pretty much completely solid. He had no articulation whatsoever, and he came with that weird spinning octopus robot. And I got that because it was on clearance at Toys R Us when they were closing. But I wanted a proper Doc Ock, and this guy's got the normal shoulder articulation, and the arms look great. You can kind of move him out a little bit. But yeah, he looks really good. I was really excited to pick this guy up as well. Drake, I absolutely will. I bought it Saturday, I think, from HLJ. I just haven't shipped it yet, but it will absolutely be reviewed when I get it. Also found these two, which is excellent. I had found the Red Ranger with the shield at another convention a while ago, and I'd always wanted, because I never bought the Megazord, the Imaginext Megazord. It was too big. I didn't have space for it. But now I have the two figures, so now I don't regret not buying it. I have both of the versions with the shield. I also found the Green Ranger with the shield, which I believe came with the Dragonzord. And I didn't really have any interest in that like motorized giant Dragonzord because it took up a lot of space. But I was definitely happy to pick up the figures. I did notice, though, that neither of them has the bands on the arms painted gold. And he's missing the straps underneath painted gold as well. Like you can see Black has it, but Green does not. Still look good. Something was off and I couldn't tell what it was, and then I figured it out. The bands should be colored. But either way, they're both in great condition. Both came with much larger sets that now I don't have to worry about trying to purchase to get them. So very excited to get both of these. Next up, we'll move on to... Hold on, I'm missing comments. My brother had Doc Ock, but missing some claws, but they broke off. That's a bummer. He was always my favorite. The eps of Clone Wars with him and his Padawan was my favorite. Excellent. Yeah, I still really like Imaginext, but I have kind of cooled off on it just because there's not a lot of new stuff coming out. I got some of the Toy Story stuff for the new Toy Story stuff. Then I ended up I didn't even see Toy Story 4. I want to, just never got around to it. So the problem is the Play School stuff and the Imaginext stuff it isn't coming out anymore. I mean, very, very, very slowly, but not in the way it used to. So it's like there's nothing for me to buy. And, I pick up some of the stuff like this when I see it for a good price, but for the most part, I kind of just cooled down on it because, I'm glad I got what I got when Toys R Us was closing because there was a lot of good stuff at a good price, but there's just not any new stuff to buy anymore. So as you can see here, I got a bunch of Gobots. I'll move Outback out of the way here. I don't know the names of these. I'll be honest. I always liked Gobots. I know Transformers are better, and I always will think Transformers are better. But I have kind of a soft spot for Gobots because they're still cool little molds, and they're good toys. And I mean, it's Machine Robo in Japan that they brought over for Gobots, and then Machine Robo eventually led to Machine Robo Rescue, which eventually led to Mugenbein. Mugenbein is one of my favorite toy lines ever. So I feel like Gobots, Machine Robo Rescue, Mugenbein, they're all together, they're all associated, and they're still good transforming robot toys. I think this guy's name is like Rescue or something like that, but he is a little ambulance. And there you go, there's the robot. He's a cool little dude. He reminds me, with the box head and the arms, he reminds me of that red and blue truck that is also a Gobot. So there you go. There's that guy. Very cool. His name is Rescue. Excellent. Thank you, TF Fan Geek. You should get some of those new shark theme. I don't even see those, John. I don't see them in stores. Those new shark ones. Feel like Walmart and Target should just get rid of the toy section just to... Yeah, honestly, like the Imaginext and Play School aisle at Target is like this big, and then all the rest of the aisle is Paw Patrol, which I get it. Paw Patrol probably makes more money on a whole, so they give it more real estate in the toy aisle. But when they redid their aisles recently, they shrank Imaginext and especially Play School so much. Because I guess Imaginext still has a decent section because they have like Batman and Toy Story, but Play School is like when I go to Target, they have one peg for those $12.99 Power Rangers, which is just the T-Rex and the Wolf. It's the only two. Then they have maybe one peg for the basic Rescue Bots, and then they have those big new buff figures in the box, and that's really all they have. That's really it. Yes, I have the Neo DN driver already ordered, so whenever that comes out, it will get sent to me. Hey Orville, thanks for joining. Alright, so that is the first little Gobot. Very cool. This was another one, and I don't know this guy's name, but I'm pretty sure he's a renegade. He is a Jeep. I'm good, Orville. How are you? He actually came with the gun, which I was pretty surprised about. So you just unpeg that. The arms pop out from underneath. It's a very common theme with Gobots to just have the arms kind of splay to the side like that. This guy's legs are crazy, though. So the bumper pieces flip back like this. Then the whole legs come out from the side. And then you have to kind of put them up like this. And then the whole thing has to rotate around. I'm trying to think which way is it easier to do it. Like this. So this rotates around, and it's kind of a pain, I'll be honest. Transforming the legs is the most pain part. Then you can swivel them back down, and then this like little windshield piece, which is a little bent on this, so but you can push it up, and then you kind of just push these up here like this, and then you pull up the head. Yeah, that was a shame to hear about Robert Axelrod. And then you can peg the gun in here. So pretty cool. Another really neat one. I think it's neat that he actually comes with a gun. And the robot mode actually looks pretty good. He's a little noodly in the legs, but he stands well. No problems there. 4-inch Play School Marvel figs. Oh, are those the like the new scale that it seems like they're going with, John? The only thing I've seen is the big Spider-Man with the jet. And the jet looks neat, but I don't like that they've changed the scale once again. Honestly, I think the reason they do this is because they know we've already exhausted all the characters there are in the current scale. So we just change the scale a little bit, and then we can just redo all the characters again. It was the same with Galactic Heroes, little squat ones where only their arms moved. The next couple, like, so these ones were actually like a couple bucks a piece because they're actually in nice shape and they look good and they're fairly clean. The next couple were in a bin that the guy called the as is bin, meaning they're a little wrecked. And he only charged me $1 each for these. So I bought these for, there's a drill, there's the jet, there's this little dude, and then there's a leader one. And I said, if I buy these four for $1 each, will you throw in this copter with the busted arm? And he's like, yeah, sure, take it. So I like Coptor. Obviously, you can see he usually has like a clear orange piece here for the canopy, which is missing. You can see that the propellers are meant to come out because I believe he holds them as a weapon. I think he's supposed to hold them in his claw hand, but they're obviously gone. All that you do is you splay the arms to the side and then you just bring the legs down. I think he's also meant, you can see how there's two little peg holes right here. I believe there's a propeller piece here that you're supposed to, like when you put the legs back up for the helicopter mode, there is a little propeller like circle blade that is supposed to peg in between the two of those. And otherwise he normally holds it in his hand as well. But this guy's definitely beat. Yeah, exactly. Battle damage, Cody. You got that right. So, I mean, it's still a cool little figure. Like, you're right. It's a bummer he's missing an arm, but overall, like, the paint and the stickers all look pretty good. Like, the rest of the robot mode, and for him to throw it in for free, I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. So, that's Coptor. This guy, I don't remember his name, but I like the robot mode a lot. I like the head, again. The stickers are all pretty decent. He's got the window up here. The transformation, though, it's literally... No, these are all Gobots, or Machine Rescue. So you fold it like this. I think that's it. I've been trying to figure out what you're supposed to do with the arms. That kind of looks neat. It kind of just makes him look like a squat little bruiser. I think you literally just leave the arms down like this. But yeah, so that's his alt mode. I don't know what it is. I think there's supposed to be a weapon or something that plugs in here, like a gun or a missile pod or something. So he's supposed to be like a tank, but obviously that was not included. But I feel like the robot mode still looks good. So for $1, couldn't say no. Now both of these guys were redone later on in the Machine Robo Rescue line, and they were given extra pegs and stuff so they could combine with other figures. But these are the Gobot versions. And I do have this guy already, but the one I have is missing one of the arms. So again, I figured for $1, I'll pick him up since this one has both of his arms. Once again, just put the arms out to the side. And he looks good. I like the color scheme. I like the drill head. I like this guy. This guy was definitely a renegade, which is what the Gobot version of Decepticons. I believe it was the Guardians and the Renegades, I think, for Gobots. Yeah, basically, Cody, what happened was back in the 80s, Tonka came out with the Gobots. Tonka went to Japan, they licensed Machine Robo, brought it over here, called them Gobots, released them. They did fairly well. They think they even had a cartoon show made by Hanna-Barbera, and it was fine. Then Transformers came out, destroyed them because their fiction and their mythology was better. But it didn't mean the toys were bad. It's just Toys R Us. Transformers was a stronger brand with all their storytelling and everything. And eventually, Tonka was going out of business. Hasbro bought Tonka completely. Mostly, I would assume, for the Tonka trucks, because that was Tonka's big brand, was their construction trucks and everything like that for kids. So they bought Tonka. They completely acquired Tonka. When they did, they got the rights to the name Gobots, because obviously Tonka had created them, and that was now part of Tonka. So when Hasbro got the name Gobots, they started reusing them. There was a line of G2 little like activator guys that they called Gobots. They later got reused as spy changers in Robots in Disguise 2001. They used Gobots for the Play School line. The very first Play School figures they ever came out with, they called Gobots. So once they acquired the name Gobots as part of the acquisition of Tonka, they started using it for stuff. So it's not surprising that you would have heard the name Gobots recently, because Hasbro does use it. Oh, Screwhead? That makes sense. Thank you, action figure expert. And welcome. Hello and welcome, by the way. So, anyway, back to this guy. He's a little jet. He looks good. You pull the legs down, fold the wings back, and then you'll be surprised to learn that once again, you rotate the arms to the side. There's a growing theme, but they still look good. I think Gobots are fun. Like I said, they're simple little toys. They're not as good as Transformers, but there's something quaint about them, and I have a soft spot. Why won't this guy's leg lock in place? Keeps wanting to fall over. And then Leader 1, which is a great Gobot. He was the Guardian Commander. He is also missing the canopy. As you can see, there's usually a kind of translucent gray piece that clicks here for the canopy. But as you can see, this back fin is incredibly loose. And these wings kind of continue to fold down. But you slide these down. Hey, Rick. And then you pull these down, and then you fold this back. And then you fold in the wings. And then these fold down like this, so he can stand. Even as a kid, I knew engineering of Transformers was vastly superior to Gobots. Yeah, I would say, in my opinion, it's the fiction. I think the Transformers storyline was just way better than the Gobots storyline. And as such, it just made kids more excited for Transformers. But that's just my opinion. So those are the Gobots that I acquired. Like I said, I love them. I think they're great. Very excited for them. But now we need to check out the Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad Samurai Sync Sword. I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way so we can check out this packaging. I actually, so quick story with this. I loved Superhuman Samurai when it came out. I remember watching it before I would go to school in the morning as a kid. and it was on one channel at 7 a.m. and it was on a second channel at 7:30, but it would always be the same episode. So I'd watch the episode at 7 o'clock in the morning. I would change it to the second channel and watch the episode again at 7:30. That's how much I liked it as a kid. So when I was waiting, to get ready to go to school. So when I saw this, this is something that my cousin had it as a kid. I never had it, but I always wanted it. I mean, since it came out, I always wanted it. I thought it was a really cool little toy. And my cousin had it, and I remember playing with it with him. And I just kind of never got one myself. And so I saw this at the show today, and I kind of just had to have it. There was no way I could leave it there. All right. Keep it civil in the comments, guys. Oh, hi, Brazilian fan. Hello, Percy. That's really awesome. So here's the packaging. You can see the box is a little busted up. It's seen better days, but it's not bad. It's honestly not bad. So, samurized for your protection. The Samurai Sync Sword samurizes into the multi-edged diode dagger blade and hilt, the binary bashing battle axe, and many more weapon configurations. Be Servo in the real world with Samurai Sync Sword. New Servo's weapon of choice. I just love all the stuff written on the box here. It's made by Playmate Toys, which also is responsible for Ninja Turtles and things like that. So they were definitely some fun toys. Like I said, I loved the show, so I loved him as a kid. I don't really know how you can be Servo in the real world. That seems like a false promise. But let's see. Collect these role-playing megavirus micronizing accessories. Digital communicator and dragon cannon. Electrocharged. See, I was trying to see if this part glue in the dark. It might. So, yeah. Hey, G-Bakes. Yeah, bot-bots are fun. You can't go wrong with some bot-bots. But you're right. Yeah, this is definitely Gridman. Is the sword Gridman's morpher? I'll be honest, I don't know. I have not seen Gridman. I know Gridman obviously was used for this show, but I have not actually seen Gridman itself. Samurai Jack, I could see that. TMNT and Gridman not sounds correct to me. Anyway, here it is. It's very tiny. Definitely smaller than I remember. Because like I said, I did play with it very briefly because my cousin had one, but obviously I was much smaller. It's in pretty good shape. These yellow stickers on both sides are peeling a little bit, but I might be able to glue them down. The axe was only used in Gridman. Okay, I was going to say I don't remember him using it as an axe. But you can see here, this is the shield. It's in the shield mode. You press this, and he would pull out the sword. So there you go. Now you have the sword and the shield. Huzzah, huzzah. You take this, pull that out, flip this around, push it back in, close this up. And I guess they're calling this the axe mode. I think they want you to put the sword back in. And this is supposed to be the axe mode. But what he always did on the show was he plugs it in up here. And now it's like a super sword. So this is like, now a guard for his hand. And this is just a large, more powerful sword. So I think it's cool. I really like it. Like I said, it's just something that as a kid, I always wanted it. I never had one. And when I saw it today, it just took me back. I was like, oh man, I always want, something I had obviously forgotten about. And I was just like, I really wanted that. That's so cool. So I had to have it. But yeah, you can see it does kind of look like a little bit of a blade here. I can see how that's an axe. And then you can put this back in there. It's just neat. I think it's really neat. I guess technically you could you do this? No, it won't fit in. So then you just open this back up, flip this. There you go. And there you go. So I like it. I think it's neat. I loved this show as a kid. I really want to see Gridman. And I think I read that because Gridman is kind of, it's not really Ultraman, but it's like associated with Ultraman because obviously it's both made by Subaraya. So I think it's included in the Mill Creek deal. So I think Mill Creek can also distribute Gridman. And I thought I saw a post somewhere where they basically said, like, we can't confirm or deny, but Gridman fans might be excited next year sometime. So that would be great. I would love to watch Gridman. I would absolutely love it if Mill Creek hooked us up with Gridman and a nice Blu-ray set. Because like I said, I loved Superhuman Samurai, and I would love to see the original show that the footage was used. So this was a great toy. I love my Gobots. I can't go wrong with my Gobots, especially when I can get them for such a reasonable price. And then I can knock them over. You know how it is. Stand up, Screwhead, since that's apparently your name. And then this weird guy. Yeah, Mill Creek is crushing it when it comes to these Ultraman. I mean, to be fair, none of the Ultraman releases have come out yet. But just the fact that they've acquired the rights and they are just moving and really hooking us up by just like, you know, they're not sitting on the license. They're like, oh yeah, you want it, you're getting it. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. So I really can't complain. So there you go. There is my crazy amount of stuff. I mean, it's actually more than I expected, but you buy the stuff kind of piecemeal throughout the day, and then you go, oh, wow. You actually stop and take a look and see all the things that you actually bought. Oh, I forgot about this guy. There we go. I'm missing comments. Let me take a look here. MST3K Tom. The communicator was actually the morpher. You talking about on the show or on Superhuman Samurai? Because I know on Superhuman Samurai he used to wear that like giant thing on his wrist, but he never really did anything with it. Like, it just the first time he went into the computer, he's like, you know, where did this come from? And it just like appeared on his wrist, and he just kind of never acknowledged it again. Sometimes he would use it like once or twice if he was somewhere not in his basement. He would use it to enter the computer, but most of the time he'd use his guitar. So, Cody Wilson said never heard of Mill Creek. I've definitely heard of Mill Creek. They would show up randomly distributing old shows from time to time. Hey Ernesto, welcome. Deke also used footage to make their own Sailor Moon. Oh, okay. I did not know that. Still think they should have stayed with Crunchyroll. I mean, Crunchyroll was convenient for simulcasting, definitely. But, I mean, at least we're getting these nice Blu-ray sets. Since apparently the Crunchyroll was not going to happen anyway. Good roleplay. The Ultras need this kind of toys. Yes, more Ultraman stuff is always fun. I mean, the Ultraman roleplay, like the Taiga Spark, is not bad. But I didn't like Rube's stuff, as I'm sure most of you know. I'm buying Ginga Onward. I'm going to get everything. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, once these get released, I don't know what supply is going to be like, and I don't know how long they're going to be available, and I don't know when they'll ever be available again, so I'm just getting everything as it comes out, so that way I have it, and I don't have to worry about it. I might not watch the Showa stuff that often, but I still think it's neat, and it's kind of a part of Toku history, so I want to have it. As long as there's a way to watch it with ads, I'll watch them. I'm too poor to pay $60 for a show. That's fair. I get that. And that's why it was convenient to have it on Crunchyroll, because you could just pop on there and watch a few ads and, you know, watch a new episode each week, which would be nice. But he used it to communicate with Gridman, and he could do a pose in front of the computer and hit a button shouting access flash. Okay. So in Gridman, was it like Superhuman Samurai where the human counterpart would go into the computer and then they would kind of join like Ultraman? Or did he literally just like communicate with Gridman and kind of control Gridman almost like a video game? I'm assuming he went into the computer as well, like Ultraman does, because Subaraya, I'm assuming, would not stray from the formula if it's working. Plus, in the animated Gridman, he went into the computer, so... Although, actually, he didn't really go into the computer in the animation. He kind of went into the computer, but then was in the real. I don't know. It's confusing. He would merge with them. Okay, cool. That's what I thought. Thank you. Movie spree. I don't know what that means. So yeah, I'll hang out for another minute or so. But yeah, I was excited. Like I said, it was a good weekend, hanging out with friends, cool toys. Um, Other than that, that's pretty much it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Hope you guys have an excellent rest of your weekend. I know there's not too much left, but you know, enjoy the weekend while you can, because tomorrow's Monday, and Mondays are no good. But yeah, if any other, where was Retrocon? Retrocon is in Oaks, Pennsylvania, which is close to King of Prussia, which is pretty. King of Prussia Mall is fairly famous. I honestly think King of Prussia Mall. I don't know. Mall of America was always like the biggest mall, and I think that's in Minnesota. Um, King of Prussia, I think at one time beat them, and may be the largest mall in America now. But then I think so. I think for a time they had beaten Mall of America, but then I think Mall of America added more so that they got the title back. And then they're kind of always battling. They're always expanding to see which one can be the biggest. I have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure King of Prussia was the largest at one point, if it's not still. Oh, don't worry about it, Percy. You were fine. No worries at all, man. Do you have a theme park in a mall? No, we don't. King of Prussia doesn't have a theme park. Now, to be fair, Cody, Mall of America doesn't have a whole theme park. Don't they have like a carousel or just like one thing? Or do they have a roller coaster? They have something, right? Mall of America has like one amusement park ride. It's not a whole park, it's just one ride. But the Plymouth Meeting Mall does have a carousel. I think the Willow Grove Park Mall might have a carousel as well. So we got carousels. We got plenty of carousels over here. All right. Well, I'm going to end here. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining, and have a good rest of your weekend. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. You know the drill, all that good stuff. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Yeah. Well, anyway, good night, guys. Have a good weekend. Good night. Have a good one.